Good morning, real estate rock stars. What's happening? It is your coach Borino. Salute. New day, new week, new opportunity. Today we're going to talk about our good friend Zillow. Nice to have you. Welcome to another live edition. Let me just turn this button on. All right, and we are good. So this is the official welcome. We chat here on Rockstars. I answer your questions. I'm here to help. We're here to talk about stuff that brings you leads, that generates listings, that brings you clients, and makes you this money. All right. How are you, my friends? Renee checking in. Good to have you. Lori just joined us. Hey, Fariba, good to have you. Welcome. She's saying, just new in real estate and need daily schedule. Good. I will help you with the daily schedule. You want me to talk about it? We'll jump on that, and I will give you a resource. Now, let's talk about our friend Zillow. You've seen these posts. Stop feeding Zillow. You shouldn't be giving Zillow any money. You shouldn't be feeding your listings. So first, some bad news, friends. Bashing Zillow, forget about it. It makes you look ridiculous. It is retarded. Stop doing it. It serves no purpose. That ship has sailed years ago. That fight over what agents should or should not do, how we surrendered the MLS and we should not be doing this or that, is done. That battle has been lost. It's done. Zillow is here to stay. Whether you like it or not, whether you want to fight it or not, bad news is, my friends, whether it is bad news or not, that's debatable. But that's over. That's done. So there's no point or need for us to sit here and cry and whine and complain and call Zillow names and do this, do that. This is the new era of real estate, my friends. Like it or not, this is the way it's going to go. And I have some important points. I actually wrote notes that I want to share with you today. Message number one of the most important things I'm going to give you today: adapt or die. You either adapt, you either understand what is the new business model in real estate, how can I make money, serve my clients, survive, not get sued, do good business, enjoy the lifestyle without killing myself working 80 hours a day, still have a life, still have a good time. You must know what's going on. Because if you're not at the table, you're on the menu. And I don't remember who said that. I apologize. Somebody probably smarter than me. If you're not at the table, if you're not sitting at the table, you're on the menu. So you've got to know what's going on. So, rule number one, adapt or die. Rule number two, stop the bashing. Stop that nonsense. It makes you look ridiculous. So don't do it. Zillow is a business model. They'd be like, we took a cab, and I don't do that. I'm an Uber guy. But we took a cab recently from an airport. We couldn't get an Uber. There was something wrong. Oh, my phone was dead. The battery was dead. So we just hailed a cab. And the guy was complaining about Uber. And I'm sitting there thinking, I know my fare up front, not from this guy. I know how long approximately it would take to get me home. I will have a clean car, usually, friendly driver, and they will have a navigation. What is it about cab drivers here in Washington, D.C.? None of them have GPS. Seriously, they ask me for directions. So he was complaining about Uber. That's how many agents still are these days. Complaining about Zillow, crying about Zillow. We want Zillow to go away. That's not going to happen. So might as well forget about it, live with it. All right. Now, as you know, Zillow, and you watch, other portals will follow. It's going to be another standard business model, roll out the iBuyer program. Get ready, and this is important. iBuyer will be the new Zestimate. And bash Zestimate's all you want. People want it. People want it. And Zillow wants consumers to come to the website and request the quote. People want that. Buyers and sellers want the numbers. That's why Zestimate became so popular. Now, it is true, most of the time they're pretty off, that it's not very accurate. But it is not the accuracy that won the battle with the Zestimates. It was the convenience, it was the speed, and it was free. Be prepared that the iBuyer program, the offers that the Zillow and other portals that will follow will provide, will be the next Zestimate. That means you need to be aware that when you come in and you sit down with the seller, they will have a number from Zillow. Now here's where it's powerful. Unlike the Zestimate, this is an offer. And we can debate whether it's high, low, it's a good deal, bad deal, a lot of built-in fees, and it's a brokerage approach or whatever. That's for another discussion. What you need to know is now sellers have a specific number in their hands where they know this is what I'm going to sell for. And here's where the problem is. Most agents come with very vague numbers, very kind of ranges. And worse, if the seller starts fighting them, if the seller has a better presentation, if the seller is stronger in communication and in opinion, very often the agent caves in and agrees to the seller's price, which makes you as an agent, if you do that, weak, incompetent, not sure, because now you want the listing more than holding your ground as to what the property should sell for. This is all eliminated with the iBuyer. They have a very specific number. So I'm going to give you some points and some tips. What do we do in the post-Zillow era? See, in the perception of the seller, the offer has a lot of credibility because it's an offer. It's not just an estimate anymore. And it's not just some agent's opinion anymore. It's a solid offer. Here's what you need to know. The portals like Zillow want the sellers to start the selling process with them. I mean, why wouldn't they? It's a no-brainer. What does the consumer have to lose? Go to Zillow, fill out a short, simple form. It's quick, easy, free, no pressure. Now, here's where it's even more convenient. Think about it. Do most sellers really enjoy talking with salespeople? Yes or no? No, of course not. Here, no salesperson, no pitch, no pressure, no selling, no bullshit scripts, no closing, no shenanigans, no bait and switch. Sure, I can get you that price, Mr. Seller. Of course, let me just come over for a few minutes for a friendly chat. I'll inspect your property and I will give you an accurate price. Let's see, the agent is vomiting some sales script that they learned in 1987 in some sales seminar. And the seller's like, oh, what have I done? You understand what you're up against now? That is the problem. And it's going to get worse. So now, up to this point, most of the leads on Zillow were buyer leads. But with 18 million unique visitors a month to the portal, brace yourself. If right now it's $1 billion business for buyer leads, seller leads are coming. It's going to be the same model. It's already rolled out in many markets. And it's going to get bigger. And it is not because Zillow is such a genius. It is because it fulfilled a need in the marketplace. It paid attention to what sellers complain about. Being sold, long listing presentation, incompetent agents, inaccurate estimates, shenanigans. And they found an angle. You see the picture now? Are you getting it? So now, what do? Step one, we got to let go of the same old, business as usual. Things are changing. And it is not driven by the leaders in the industry, it's driven by the consumer. Just like the Uber, the Netflix, Airbnb. It's the consumer that drives the need. So your job and my job is to share what I know is be aware first, what does the consumer want? What do they really want and how can you fulfill that need? So enough of the bad news. I also have good news. Well, I don't know if it's bad news, but you get my point. Number one, there will be plenty of business for you. The Zillow flips, you don't have much to worry about. According to my calculations, it's going to be about 1% of the market. About 5,000 transactions a month. Drop in a bucket. So there you don't have to worry about. What you need to worry about is who's going to be the agent in your area, getting the clients, closing the transactions, and making the money. And competing or cooperating with Zillow. Because right now, it can be a valuable business model. It's possible. And I'll show you an example in just a moment. So step one, you're going to go from a salesman to advisor. to an advisor. The sales pitching, the canned scripts, the needy, desperate, aggressive, pushy approach is going to work less and less and less until people who will stick with it will be out of business. That's my prediction, and it's already happening. You already see it. 2, master communicator. The agent who's going to win all the business, and there'll be plenty, and there'll be plenty of agents making a lot of money, will be the one who will become an advisor, understand the seller, understand the prospect, understand the circumstances, condition, and be able to communicate well, clearly, confidently, from authority, not pushy, not arrogant, compassionate, but high status. And I would suggest start evaluating how good of an advisor are you? How much trust do you have when it comes to your clients? How good of a communicator are you? If I rated you, if I were to shadow you for an hour, watching you prospect, follow up, talk to, interact, you're doing an open house, you're doing a listing presentation. That's something I can help you with, by the way, next month. If you're coming to DC, would love to teach you how we do all this in today's market. I'm teaching a class, 2-day class, live class here in DC, how to do a great listing presentation. But if I were to follow you, if I were to record you, if we were to analyze, would you score a 5 on your communication? Number 3, market expert. See, this is where the agents get beaten. They either don't know the market well enough or don't know how to communicate well enough, confidently enough, because they're attached to the outcome. Where Zillow just comes in and here's the number. We're going to buy your house for this much. Certainty. Clients want certainty. They don't want vague opinions. They don't want something where they feel like, well, maybe he's right, maybe he's wrong. You communicate with confidence what the property should be listed for and why. And approximately, and that can be a range, but it needs to be very narrow and very accurate, how much is it going to sell for? How much cash are they going to walk away with? See, they're going to get all this from Zillow. And you may argue, well, I can get them more. Can you really? Are you certain? How certain are you? How much of an expert are you? And how well can you communicate it to the seller so you don't get barraged by objections and questions and we'll think about it, we'll get back to you, which is nothing but saying, we don't want to do business with you right now. How good really do you know your stuff? Your pricing must be just like Zillow, fast and accurate. 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 You need to know what impacts the value of each listing you go on. You need to have an intelligent conversation with the seller. Next, a problem solver. And this is a big one. Problem solver. So Zillow tosses around average transaction, this average transaction, that. Have you ever had an average transaction? I had a deal once. It was a listing in Whittier, California. I was the listing agent. Another agent brought a buyer. It turns out that the property, it was a lovely property with a view up on the hill, had settling problems, which the seller forgot to disclose. And of course, big explosion followed. Buyer freaked out, wanted to cancel everything, backed out, lawsuit this, trouble that. Seller freaked out, pushing it on me. Oh, you didn't tell me I need to disclose it. Bullshit. There is no such thing as average transaction. Why? Because, and this is important again, buying and selling is difficult, scary, and emotional. And here is the good news, my friends. No AI, at least not in foreseeable future, can handle emotions, stress, difficulties, and solve problems automatically. That's your job. That's your job. So that means you need to know what the problem is, how to approach it, understand options. Becoming a problem solver. Becoming the person who will be like the lighthouse. There's a shitstorm going on, as it does in most transactions, right? The property doesn't appraise, there's a problem with the mortgage, there's a problem with inspections, there's always something. A dripping faucet can ruin a deal. Have you ever had that? You need to know what the problem is, how to be the authority, the center of that shitstorm going on around you, and how to solve it. That's going to make you stand out more than anything. That's going to build the authority. That's going to be the service that you're going to provide. Because you already know, getting the listing is just the first step. And there's a boatload of other steps before you get your paycheck, seller gets their check, and everything is said and done. This is where you're going to shine. This is where you're going to step up. This is where it's so important for the seller and the buyer, of course, to have somebody where they can confide to, they can ask questions, they can consult. So you're not a salesperson anymore, you're a consultant, you're an advisor. And it is a little bit of a psychologist and a marriage counselor and an expert in understanding human behavior. But because the emotional process of buying and selling is so charged, there will always be a need for the prospect or client to come to you for guidance, for advice. And you provide it. But you need to do it without being too concerned over your commission, rather than what is the client's best interest. Given the situation and the circumstances, what is the one thing that will protect their best interest? What is the right thing to do here? And if you can do that, you're going to crush it. You have not much to worry about. And the last, you're going to master systems. You will not survive in this business without good systems. You will not be able to. You will not be able to compete with other agents. You will not be able to compete with portals without good systems. So what do you need? You need three. You need systems that generate good leads. Zillow is crushing it because they figured out the system. Now, you will not beat Zillow at its game. You're going to beat Zillow at your game. Being an advisor, master communicator, and a market expert. Because there is a market share that wants that. Yes, there'll be some people who say, Zillow, give me the offer, we're going. Yes, we may take less, it's fine, we like the convenience, we're willing to pay for that. We were shopping yesterday with Hannah. We're at the local mall here at Nordstrom Rack. I was just buying, a couple of shirts and some stuff for my workshop. So I look good for you guys. Speaking of the workshop, did I invite you? Did I tell you? Do you know about it? I'm doing a 2-day workshop called the Presentation Masterclass. Go to goborino.com/live, where we'll spend 2 full days together working on your presentation and communication. Exactly this stuff that will help you stand out and get more business. 2 days, it's in May. Come down, I'll teach you how to do all this stuff. I figured that part out. Anyway, we were in Nordstrom Rack. I was buying some shirts and some stuff. It is not the cheapest store. It is not even the most glamorous store. There isn't even Marcus, there's others. But the reason I went there is because I got what I wanted. Good quality, one place. I didn't have to go from shop to store and this, there, get my shirt there, I got it all there. I bought some sweats and I bought some short polo shirts and stuff like that, a few $100, nothing special. But I pay for the convenience. And yes, some of it is status. I might get the same shirt that I bought there and it cost, $100. If I went to Walmart, I'd maybe find something not quite like that, of course, but similar. But it is part of the experience that was for me that I paid for, and I don't mind paying the premium. What I'm telling you is there are people out there right now who will pay premium for having somebody that they can talk to in person. I bought my daughter, I hope she's not watching, she's not home right now. I bought her a new phone for her birthday. It's going to be in 10 days. And she's going to get a new phone. Same thing. I went in person to AT&T. We walked into the office. I wanted to have a chat with somebody. And the lady that was helping us was super nice, super knowledgeable, super friendly. She helped us save some money. She set us up on a different program, and she got us a phone. And after discussing with her, I had some questions. What would be the best? My daughter's, she's going to be 13. So it's crazy, right? 13-year-olds with smartphones these days. I know, I'm old. I could have done it online, I could have done it over the phone, but I appreciated that she would show me, I could touch the phone, I could ask questions, we can run the numbers and decide what is the best plan, what is the best phone. We incorporate it into my family plan and all that. There are people out there right now, today, who would rather have somebody who can hold their hand, who can explain things to them, who can make such a complex and difficult and very often legally challenging situation and financially challenging situation and emotionally challenging situation easier. That's where you come in. That's where you're going to shine. And just like me at Nordstrom Rack yesterday, they're going to pay premium for it and they know what they're getting for it. But do you know what you're offering for that? Are you clear about the value you provide, the information you can provide, the skills you have, the experience you can deliver, the communication you have? So the first system you got to have is that generates these leads. Now you got to up your game. You need to figure out how many leads does it take to reach my goals. The good news is there are plenty of leads. There'll be 12% of us moving this year. 12% of American population will move this year. A lot of people. NAR projects over 5 million transactions closed. A lot of business. But you need to have a system how to get these suckers. The second system you have to have is a follow-up. Now, why is that important? Because the conversion from the lead to prospect to appointment happens through follow-up. It is through the process of follow-up where you start building connections, start building trust with these people. They start recognizing your face, your name. And it's a process. It doesn't need to be long. Sometimes it is. Sometimes even months. I have people on the follow-up for a year, sometimes for longer. But it doesn't need to be. But there needs to be something more than just a drip campaign. How much do you like getting emails? You love them, right? Every morning you can't wait to get out of bed to read emails. There are still agents out there who think drip campaign equals follow-up. It does not. I have news for you. So, follow-up needs to incorporate all the channels: video, email, texts, personal conversations, phone conversations, social media, all of that. And the system number 3 is listing. You need to have a listing system. From pre-listing process, which is what we're going to work on DC, where you'll see that getting a listing at the end, the signature at the end, is the least challenging part. Getting the contract signed is the least challenging part. It's the easiest part if you do the beginning right. The pre-listing, pre-framing, indoctrination, pre-listing package, pre-listing interview, setting up the appointment, qualifying the seller, 7 important questions you must ask and know before you even sit down with the seller. First 4 seconds of your presentations are critical. Stuff that nobody else probably teaches you. Not probably, nobody else teaches you. But you have to have a process, and then how to get that sucker sold. Price it right, communicate the pricing well to the seller so you don't overprice the sucker, which to me is one of the biggest disservices that agents still do. And you're surprised why Zillow is winning the wars. It's because agents still agree to take a listing and wait 4 months before they grow the balls to tell the seller we're overpriced, if they say it. We're going to avoid that. I'm going to teach you. But it's a system. So these 3 systems, lead generation system, follow-up system, and listing system, combined with being a great problem solver, providing market expertise, being an awesome communicator, and positioning yourself as an advisor is the solution. And you're going to clean up. You're going to clean up like many of my students do. 5, 6, 7 transactions a month. Not all, not always, and I can't promise or guarantee that. But if you would like my help, I can help you get there. It's not going to be easy. This business is not easy. But it can be very rewarding, very profitable. It can be very satisfying because you can still do it. And here's the best news. A lot of bad news, a lot of good news today, right? Best news is this. With these shifts, it will force a lot of incompetent, a lot of commission chasers, a lot of people who shouldn't have been in this business in the first place out. That means the playing field will open. Yes, some of it will be taken by the portals and by different business models, the disruptors, but there'll be plenty left for you. Those who are willing to step up, roll up their sleeves and step up and really get the job done well, with the client's interest, best client's interest at heart, being laser focused, being disciplined, not running their business on emotions. I like this and I don't like that and I don't want to prospect and cold calling is bad and all that bullshit. Where it's a business mind, like a military mind. This is my target, I'm going after it. Serving clients, finding them, communicating with them, setting up appointments, getting properties sold, making money. You're going to clean up and it's going to be awesome and it's going to be a fantastic ride and a very profitable one. And some will be looking from the sidelines going, how in the world did they pull that off? You can learn. That's the beautiful thing. All of this is learnable. You can learn how to be an advisor. You can master your communication. I have a whole program on it. You can become a market expert, studying the market, researching, watching what's going on, previewing property. Problem solver. Some of it will come from experience, but some of it is just a desire. Being compassionate and empathetic to the client's position. I'm not saying weak. I'm not saying kiss ass. But just with empathy, still be confident. It's a balance. You're right in the middle. And then finally, having solid systems in place. If you evaluate these 5, and if you're really honest with yourself, if you start saying, well, where am I here? 1 to 5. Where am I here? 1 to 5. If you're not scoring 24 or 25, you got some work to do. And you better do it fast. That's where we are. All right. Grace would like to know how many spots left. Grace, that's a good question. I haven't checked. We have a staff meeting this afternoon. As of Friday, we had 5 spots sold. Sorry, 6 spots were taken, 14 available. I'm taking only 20 people to the class here in DC. So if you want to jump on it, do it now. We still need to ship you some information. We need to set you up, get you information about the hotel and all that. So plus flight and all that. One of the jobs is steady for our clients. Yes. Katie says, bingo! Please do not ignore that we are only the ones not trying to absorb the equity of the home. Those companies are tooting their own no commissions and are very convenient. However, they are looking to pick up the properties for pennies. Shannon, there are. But that's nothing new. They have been investors and investment trusts. These things have been going on for years, since the caves have been sold. That's not new. They just made it really convenient, easy. And they plainly tell the seller, here's what we're going to buy it for, this is what you walk away with. Now, if you can come in and tell the seller what list price as an expert they should be listed for and what it's going to sell for, they may listen to you. Maybe, maybe not. But sometimes the timing, getting the offer instantly, not cleaning the house, not doing repairs, not hassle, is worth the extra money. That's why some people like me go to Nordstrom Rack and some people go to Walmart. Nothing wrong with either one. And there's plenty of business for both. You just need to know where you stand and what you deliver, what makes you stand out so that you earn that business. Does that make sense? So I appreciate what you're saying, Shannon. Katie would like to know the details on the DC class. Katie, the details are here. If you watch, there's a short video, but what I can tell you is we're going to spend 2 full days here in DC with me personally. We're going to be in a business center that will have cameras on you. And we're going to work on your confident communication, how you're setting up appointments, how you communicate, and how you present. How you interact with the seller from hello to please sign here. The entire process. You will get my brand new Listing Presentation Plus 2.0. There's a book and some videos. And I will train you and teach you and show you, but more importantly, you will practice how to get it done. How to end up with well-priced listings, with friendly sellers, no arm wrestling, no haggling, no shenanigans, no pushy selling, where you create a sense of team. We're in this together. We're going to get this done together. You're going to practice over and over, try different things. We're going to have these drills, these exercises, and you're going to do the entire listing presentation over and over. You're going to watch and do, learn and do, learn and do, learn and do for 2 full days. And we're going to record it. We're going to put it on the screen and say, hey, watch this. Notice how the body language right now indicates that the seller is engaged. Notice how right now they're disengaging. There's fear, all that stuff. Notice how, because a lot of your presentation is nonverbal. We're not going to just work on the words. They're important, but everything that comes with it, from your posture, body language, eye contact. Besides, we're going to work on the entire flow of your presentation, which needs to have start, beginning, and end, and how to get it done. Pitfalls, objections, all of that will be part of it. So if you feel like you don't have a rock-solid listing presentation, if you have agents in your area who are good at this stuff, if you feel like you're not confident enough, if you're struggling with pricing or commission, if you're getting a lot of objections or you get a lot of those, we got to think about it, or we don't know what we're going to, we have more agents to interview, which is nothing but a brush, calm down. We'll spend 2 full days working on this together. It's going to be really good. It's the only time I'm teaching this class. I usually teach it once every 2 years or so. It's been a couple of years since I've taught it, but because I've just updated the Presentation Plus 2.0, I feel like some of you may benefit from really learning this in 2 full days. It's a really good class. So go to goborino.com/live, check it out, sign up. We sell it out every time I teach it because it's a really small class and a lot of people benefit from it. So do check it out. All right, would love to have you. Here's the URL one more time, goborino.com/live. So that's what it is, Shannon and Katie. Melinda says Zillow is a bunch of crooks. Maybe. Maybe. I'm not here to bash on Zillows, and I encourage you do not either. If anything, it makes you look unprofessional. Because do you really know? Are you a legal expert? Do you really understand what they're doing? I don't. I mean, I understand their business model. We may agree or disagree with it, but clearly there's a demand from the public, and a pretty high demand. So bashing it, ignoring it, pretending it's not there, or saying don't give Zillow any business is foolish. I have students who invest $8,000 a month in Zillow, and I interviewed them. If you're a member of my Path coaching, you have access to the Listing University. You can watch an interview with an agent who invests about $8,000 a month to make $25,000 a month. That's a good investment. For every dollar he puts in, he gets $2 to $3 back. I'll take that. It's a business model. So drop the emotions, stick with data. Drop the emotions and anger and frustration, stick with facts. What is a good business decision? What serves the client and what serves your needs as well? All right? So as much as I appreciate the sentiment, Melinda, doesn't really matter. All right. Yeah, Neil, that's exactly right. He says you got to be better on Zillow. Now you need to figure out how do you beat Zillow in their own game. Grace is right. Adapt and overcome. That's the secret, my friends. All right. Was this helpful? You can win. You can win. You're not going to win the war fighting Zillow where they're strong. You will not outperform the marketing they can do, the online marketing that Zillow can pull off. Yeah, you're going to have IDX feed on your website. Woohoo! Nobody cares. Can you really make a lot of money and generate a lot of listings that way? Of course not. So don't try to compete with them where they're strong. Compete based on the needs of the market, based on the needs of your clients. Listen, pay attention to what they want, and become really good at that. You get good at these 5 things, you have nothing to worry about. That'll be paycheck after paycheck after paycheck. And if you watch here on Rockstars, YouTube, everywhere where I post interviews and analysis of the business, success stories of the business, the people who do well do these 5 things well. That's the good news. You don't have to be good looking. You don't have to be 25 years old and handsome like me. You don't need that. I mean, if you have it, great, good for you. But you don't need that. You need these 5 things. These are essential. And if one of them is missing, you're broke. And if one of them is missing, you're struggling. If you have these 5 in place and you can rank 4 or 5 or better, you're rocking it. All right, friends. Thank you very much for being here today. Coach Borino signing off. I appreciate every single one of you. Those of you signing up for DC, can't wait to see you. Looking forward to it. It's going to be really good. May 20th, 21st here in Washington, D.C. Go to goborino.com/live. Sign up. Watch. There's a video that explains exactly how the class works, but you get the idea. It's going to be you and I working personally on a very intense and very powerful stuff. The good news is the stuff you're going to learn about confident communication, psychology, influence, you're going to use it in your open house. You're going to use it during your follow-up. It's all across the board, because the principles are the same. These are not selling principles. These are psychological, neuro-linguistic programming, and advanced influence principles. And they're very powerful. Okay? I'll see you in DC. The rest, thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of the day. Crush it today. And I'll see you on a live tomorrow. Coach Borino signing off. Let's go get him. Bye, everybody.